Hello and welcome to this video on computer networking. So my name's Otis Stubbs and this channel is the Overload Lessons YouTube channel. I just started it and this is my first video. So a little about myself. I'm a Cisco Certified Network Associate and a student and I really love networking. So I wanted to make some videos explaining very high level sections of what the topic is and explaining protocols, also some technical videos, but this first video is just going to be a general overview of networking itself. In future videos I will go in much more detail. So if you like the video, please press the like button, leave a comment if you have any suggestions, press the subscribe button and share it with others. Okay. So the first question is, well, what is a computer network? So really, it's just a bunch of computers and their applications that are talking to each other. And in order for this to work properly, we use protocols, okay, communication protocols, that define the rules of how we go about doing this. So it's like a language for the network. And the way we connect the computers is with copper cabling, like maybe these wires that are twisted together, or a type of cabling called coaxial, or fiber optic cabling where you bounce light down a tube, or even radio waves. Okay, with using the microwave spectrum, we can also transmit data with wireless communication technologies. And then finally, there's the other point here, topologies, really just the way that we're going to arrange all the different nodes in the network. So now let's look at a little example. This isn't really a proper network, but it just gives you the idea that there are different devices that the people are interacting with, okay, like a Windows PC, a wireless laptop, a phone, and then some server with some information on it, and we're connecting them somehow. Okay, and then what that allows us to do is, well, this PC can now request from video from this server, or the laptop can transfer a file between the server. So it allows us to do tons of things. And in the next slide we'll look at some advantages of connecting the computers together. So the first advantage is we can connect with others much easier. We can use Zoom and Skype and social media, and we can make friends and do lots of social things once the computers are connected together. We can share files, share information. Okay, if you want to give a large video to a friend over the world, you don't have to just put it on a USB stick and fly there. Okay, with networking, all this infrastructure is built and all these protocols exist so that it is just easy to send files and other bits of information. We can learn education. Okay, education is a big part of the internet. Okay, you don't have to be in a physical school. People who live in remote areas or third world countries can learn by using the internet. And then also entertainment is a big part of the internet. Okay, Netflix, Stan, all the social media platforms. Gaming is a huge industry. All of these industries, shopping, that's another one. They all have a big presence on the internet these days, like Zara or Uniqlo, all the big shopping brands. They're all on the internet, and it's a good idea to do that because you get a lot more sales when people don't have to just go to your stores. They can use the internet and actually buy stuff from websites. So those are some advantages. Now let's look at maybe some disadvantages that might come about when you connect it all. So first is mental health, right? When it's so quick and easy to communicate, bullying could be a problem. Well, it is a problem. It's so easy just to send a message with something rude to someone, and also with platforms like Instagram, when there's so many pictures of supermodels and big buff bodybuilders, it might sort of negatively impact someone's mental health. Maybe they think that's the way that they should look, and then it gets in their head, and then they have problems. So that's maybe one disadvantage. Crime cybercrime, once everything's connected, malicious software can sort of just run free in all this infrastructure and, affect industrial places. People can hack, nuclear plants, do all sorts of terrible, terrorism. Maybe, when it's so easy to connect, some sort of criminal drug dealing gang could, much easily communicate and, be more efficient at doing whatever they do. So it's just, bringing about a bit more crime. Are we too connected? Maybe you can't get away from your job. They expect you to do more work, maybe because, they're at home, they've got internet connection, they should be doing more. And then, with the environmental aspect, if we go back to the online shopping example, when it's so easy to just buy more things, maybe you'll buy more than you need. If you have to go to the store and actually look around and you feel the quality, it might make a difference to, when you're just on a computer at home and, they've used Photoshop and it looks all great. So then you might end up buying more that way, and that might in turn affect the environment if, the company's not sustainable or something like that. Okay, so that's a sort of general overview of what we're doing with computer networking. Now I'll bring up my pen and we'll sort of draw a few examples of small networks and just give you an idea of the internet, which is really a large public philosophy of and it's a lot of infrastructure that is public and connects lots of smaller networks together to make one big network. Okay, so I'll just bring up my backboard here. Okay, so say we've got 5 devices in our home: a PC and a phone and a printer, okay, a laptop, and maybe another PC, okay. And we want these to share information. As we've seen, there's lots of benefits that can come about doing this. In this small example, what we'd probably be doing is sharing files. Maybe we've just set up this network because someone said, I want to share some files. So we've gone, okay, let's set up this little network here. But how are we going to do this? Okay, well, one option would be to get a cable or use radio waves to connect them all together in a big mesh. So this computer has a connection to the printer and the phone and the 2 PCs, and then this one has a connection to the others, this one, and then this one. Okay, but that's not going to be very scalable really, because if we the more devices we're adding, the amount of links or cables or radio channels we need is just going to continue growing a lot. Okay, so it's not the best plan doing it like this. What we could do maybe is have some sort of central device in the middle of all the devices, and they'll connect to this central device. Okay, so a common device we'll use is a network switch. Okay, and what we do is plug into it with a cable, just with one cable, and now everyone can share information with each other with a lot less of these cables. So the switch is fairly intelligent, and if a bit of a file needs to go to this computer, when this bit of information comes in, the switch looks at where it needs to go and will appropriately forward it out of a certain cable. So this, going back to what I mentioned in the PowerPoint, talked about topologies. This is a topology called a star topology, or a hub and spoke, where you've got some sort of centralized device and others connect into it, and it allows them to talk to each other. And that's more scalable than some sort of mesh where we're connecting everyone to each other, and that's requiring a lot more cabling and a lot more money, really. So this is a common device we find in homes and in businesses called a switch. Okay, now this domain here we call the local area network. Okay, it's in size-wise, geographically, it's local. Okay, it's not spanning a large area, and also certain local activities going on between it with the applications. So I'll draw a little boundary here. This is the local area network. Now, if we want to talk to some web servers off in California, this is obviously isn't going to work. So I'll have to somehow connect out to some network that connects to other networks and gets me there, and that's the internet. So here we've got the internet, and this is really just the result of all the service providers connecting to each other and providing infrastructure, and they we'll pay for some plan with them that we have an agreement on how much speed we have and how much it costs and certain things. But the main point here is that to connect out to some other network, we're going to use another device, and this one we call a router. So we've got the switch and then a router. So routers route the traffic, right, the packets, the bits of information between different networks. Okay, and it sits at the border. So where the router here is, it's the border of the LAN with the internet. Now you may also hear the term WAN for wide area network. This is generally used if we have an enterprise and it has a headquarter building and then maybe some branch offices around the place. Maybe it's a retail company and they have multiple buildings throughout cities that sell clothes. Okay, the way they'll generally connect is with some sort of private connection called a WAN, and often, especially when there's confidential information involved with some sort of government agency, having a private connection is much more secure, right? The internet is a public infrastructure that a hacker could have their own network and be looking around on the internet, but with with some sort of private WAN, it's really just sort of, you can think of it as a literal cable between two offices. Okay, no one else is going to be able to see that, whereas the internet's a much more public place. So often you'll see the term WAN used for businesses' private connections between their sites. But for a small network like a home network with a couple of devices, we're really just going to say we're going to connect out to the internet, okay, through whatever ISP. In Australia, Telstra are a large service provider. In England, I think there's BT and AT&T in America. But these are just the people that provide access onto this big place that connects all the other networks. So the WAN and the LAN and the internet. Okay, switch is a common device in the LAN. Some prehistoric devices before the switch were the hub and the bridge, but they were sort of just a bit like switches, but not as intelligent. But really, the switch is the main device in the LAN, and then the router to connect to other networks. Okay, so now I'll just give a sort of very high overview of the internet backbone and the countries connected to each other. Okay, so let's draw a little map of the world. Okay, here we've got Australia and Asia, India. Okay, that was not very good. Let's see. Okay, and then Africa, and then just North America, South America, UK. Okay, so let's just imagine, make it simple. Each country has one internet service provider, and they're providing access and connecting all the different homes and businesses within each country. Okay, this is very, very simplified, but you'll get the idea. Okay, and then they need ways to connect to each other because someone that's part of some ISP might need to go somewhere that's part of another ISP. So there's literal cables under the ocean, fiber optic cables, that then allow the different ISPs to talk to each other. As well as these ocean cables, in the sky there are also satellites that use lasers between each other and talk with the ground to also provide connection between different networks. So we've got the ISPs, and then what they do is they have all their networks and all their equipment, and then essentially they're just providing access to all the smaller homes. Okay, and then so if this home needs to go to some home here, it's essentially going through their network and all this complexity over some cable or in the sky through some satellite, and then ended up coming to this other house. So that's a very general overview of this is what they call the internet backbone, all the service providers connected to each other. This is good for smaller businesses or residential networks, but also then rich companies will also have their own sort of thing going on, their own sort of WANs. Okay, so there you go. So that was a very just general overview of this topic of computer networking. I hope you enjoyed the video. In coming videos, I will do much more on certain protocols, how this works, the languages they speak, the topologies, the infrastructure, all of that. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to maybe put a comment if you have a suggestion. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.